Connecting live on Periscope. Live on D, live on Facebook. And YouTube is live now. I'm going to be getting straight to your calls, guys. Well, not straight to your calls. I have to show you at least one little thing or two. And Twitch is live. I am, of course, continuing the stream on TalkStream Live, TalkStreamLive.com. You can download the TalkStream app and listen to my show, Jesse's show, and many other shows, too. It's cool. Also, the JLP Live app. That's the audio player on the HakeReport.com/show. Also, the JesseLeePeterson.com/show. You click on listen, and then there's a player that shows up on that page, the listen page, and you can listen on the live feed, or you can listen on the Periscope or all these other platforms. Cool, huh? Anyways, it is Friday, November 6th, 2020. Stay tuned for the Fallen State. Well, don't stay tuned, but you have to tune in for the Fallen State later today. The Fallen State with Mr. Reagan. That's exciting. Nice. I'm pumped for that one because it's just going to be kind of interesting hearing him and Mr. Reagan interact with Jesse Lee Peterson. Isn't that cool? That's partly why I'm wearing the Fallen State t-shirt, the old school one. Cool. That's noon Pacific time today. It's 9:02 a.m. here in Los Angeles right now. I'm live for 2 hours. And, of course, Church with Jesse Lee Peterson. Thanks, guys, for coming to the men's forum. That's cool. I mean, dang. People came from Nevada, North Nevada. People came from NorCal, and they just drove down, and people came from all over, a couple of places in NorCal. That's cool. People came from Texas. That's nice. Right on. And of course, LA too. Yes, there are LA sane people, right? And it's growing. And they're becoming more and more sane too, because, you know, there's a whole lot of conservatives who are, they're conservative, but they're not living right. But they're getting it together. That's cool. And so today I'm going to be talking about shenanigans. President Trump said shenanigans. Yes, Hake Report watcher, or at least Hake News on the Jesse Lee Peterson watcher, confirmed. Am I right? Yes. I coined that term shenanigans, by the way, in my day. And there's another fake term that I'm going to be talking about journalism. The job of journalism. This is the fake communistic imitation female-minded morality, right? The job of journalism is to comfort the afflicted and afflict the comfortable. Get ready to throw up, right? Nice. And I will be reading your super chats. Thank you all for the support on DLive as well as streamlabs.com/the Hake Report. That's cool. And support Bond. Big time. Bond and Jesse Lee Peterson, they're making it happen. They never stopped fighting. That's cool. Even when, like, we've seen the degeneracy just explode across the last 30 years and more, honestly. And just like President Trump is not stopping the fight. Isn't that cool? He's not giving up. Isn't it nice to finally have a person who's not giving up? By the way, the dishonest media only tries to catch Republicans, not Democrats. Trump, not the Trump haters. Whites, not blacks. Men, not women. Christians, not Muslims or atheists or Jews or anybody else. The real conservative Christians, that is, or the ones who are trying to be closer to, like, morality. So, dishonest, fake news, you cannot trust them. That's why I like how people like Jesse Lee Peterson and President Donald Trump just steamroll over these people. And they don't have to have all the you don't have to have all of the facts to know that these people are liars and not to be trusted. Very nice. I will be getting to your calls, 888-775-3773. But let's get on with the show.
Oh, it's the Hake Report, the Hake Report, la la la.
Look at that.
Oh, it's the Hake Report, the Hake Report, la la la.
Hey guys, we're going to be talking about how degeneracy is uplifted and moral straightness is taken down and downplayed, and they're evil. And it's just so typical. And you can call in too, 888-775-3773.
Oh, it's the Hake Report, the Hake Report, la
Look at that girl.
la. Oh, it's the Hake Report,
Take off the mask,
Hake
right?
Report, la la la.
What's up, everybody? Isn't it interesting? So, I have to do my traditional words, even though we play a different song on Fridays. The original Hake Report theme song. Shout out to AJ Gallardo, am I right? Yes? Nice. 10 fingers, 11 toes. Check them out. Let me quickly get right into this. I was just chuckling. I couldn't help but speak over the song at this woman, Cori Bush. This is the woman who I believe appears in the Get It Off Your Chest Friday featured introduction edited by Joel Friday here. This woman, yeah, I recognize her with the stripe in her hair. You know, the one braid that's golden. This woman needs to first take off her mask. Second, take off those acrylic nails. I know that I'm not the only one in this room who does not like those things. That is like a sign of a witch. Look at that. Look at those claws. That's like evil. And this woman, Cori Bush, she claimed Mike Brown was murdered. You can hear it on the Jesse Lee Peterson show on the intro for Get It Off Your Chest Friday. Just today. And we played it earlier this week, no doubt, on the Jesse Peterson show. And this woman is claiming Mike Brown was murdered. Michael Brown was an 18-year-old thug. A thug. He strong-armed the store owner who tried to stop him, and like it looked like he stole some Swisher Sweets cigarillos for blunts, right? Isn't that what that usually is for? I don't know. And he was walking in the middle of the street with his little friend, a short guy, fellow 17, 18-year-old or so. And former then officer Darren Wilson, a white male, said, "Hey, get out of the street." He said, "No." And they got into a confrontation. Mike Brown tried to take the guy's gun, beat him in the face, started to walk away, turned around and charged at Darren Wilson. Some of the fake witnesses claimed, "Hands up," he said, "hands up, don't shoot." And former officer Darren Wilson executed him. Nope. Complete lie. And nowadays, they want to presume, you know how I joke around? I've joked around with my friends. Oh, we see a black guy, we go, guilty. And that's like a big joke, but it's racist. You shouldn't do that. You shouldn't assume that they're guilty, right? And in seriousness, in common decency says, you presume a person innocent unless proven guilty. Well, they presume the cops guilty of racist murder without any evidence, even after the evidence comes out that it was completely an innocent self-defense, cop doing his job, killing. Yep. And this woman, to this day, is lying. And she was hurt by the police or whatever. To this day, she's a lying sleaze. Lying sleaze. I got that word from something about, whatever. And no, Trump is spanking Biden. He's fighting hard. Right on. And he is telling the truth, and they're full of lies. And I will be taking your calls on that. But it's just kind of gross. And that woman that that I showed to you, if you were watching the video, was wearing a face mask, just all by herself. That's another political statement, because there's no need for her to be wearing a face mask, except that it is a one of those fashionable ones, even though you look like a Muslim or something, covering your face. But these people are phony, and she's a phony politician. She used to be a phony, just regular black radical female citizen, and now she's a phony politician in the U.S. House of Representatives for Missouri, Ferguson area. At least she was in Ferguson at one point, I guess. St. Louis, whatever. Disgusting. Let me show you another black guy who apparently is a crooked person. Here's this clip 11, Joel. This Buffalo mail carrier, I told you guys about this in Hake News at the end of hour 2 of the Jesse Lee Peterson show today. This is from WIVB4. This is part of a news report on this Buffalo, New York mail carrier, a mailman, arrested at a Peace Bridge with mail in his trunk. It looked like he was coming back from Canada, actually. He had 3 items, 3 mail-in ballots that were never delivered to their proper recipients. Thief or incompetent, both the same. And lying, by the way, too. This clip that you're going to hear, it won't mention it, but this guy said, according to the article that I read, that, oh, that's my mother's in my mail. And it's like 800 pieces of mail, really? And he couldn't explain all the other names that were not him nor his mother. So here's the clip. News report on a man arrested on November 3rd, caught by the Border Patrol with a whole lot of mail in his truck, including 3 ballots that he effectively stole. And by dishonest means, he was going to feed it back into the I don't know, lost mail place back at the post office. A corrupt government employee. Kind of typical, right? Listen to this.
27-year-old Brandon Wilson of Buffalo posted on his Facebook page Monday that he was looking forward to a 5-day break. On Election Day, he posted that he voted and encouraged others to vote. But hours later, at about 7:30 on election night, U.S. Customs agents say Wilson was at the Peace Bridge Plaza coming into the United States when inspectors asked him to open the trunk of his Chevy Impala. They found a U.S. Postal Service box containing over 800 pieces of mail. According to the federal criminal complaint against him, he said he forgot it was in there and that he intended to whittle down the amount of mail in his trunk by placing a small amount of the mail into USPS missort containers in the morning before his shift began. Wilson was hired by the Postal Service last year in West Seneca, but usually works out of Buffalo post offices, like this one in the Central Park neighborhood. This is the same 14215 zip code where most of the mail found in his trunk came from. Wilson denied discarding mail pieces and denied stealing greeting cards, cash, or checks from his delivery route, according to the court papers. Dang. He also denied knowledge of the 3 election ballots discovered within the recovered mail. Those 3 ballots were not filled out. They just never made it to 2 home addresses in Buffalo. The Postal Service has put him on emergency placement, off duty without pay. If Brandon Wilson is found guilty of delay or destruction of mail, he could face up to 5 years in jail.
Crazy, huh? And this same day that he was caught, he had said in a Facebook post, make sure you all vote. I think I have the Brandon Wilson, from Buffalo, his Facebook. You can see at the top of his Facebook feed, it says, if you didn't go, please go and vote. Hashtag I voted 2020. But he took 3 ballots, along with, 800 other pieces of mail, and he was going to sneak. Dishonest person. He was going to, rather than admit, oh man, I messed up, I kept this in my trunk, he was going to sneak it into the discarded or lost mail bin at his work before he got back to work. Corruption and incompetence. Such the norm. Look at this guy. He's black. Poor man. Brandon Wilson. Brandon. What are we going to do with you? And think about this. This is, I mean, there are more honest people than this at the post office, right? But there are a whole lot of people with this level of honesty at the post office and in the government employees in general. Think about it. They talk about the police has this, police protect each other from, you know, when they commit crimes. It's a blue wall of silence. Yeah, right. Look at the other government agencies. Every bit as corrupt as what many people think of the police. He will say you are racist. Yeah. Jeffrey Shiflett says, I don't know if this guy will, but statistically speaking, or in common experience, these people cry racism when they get in trouble. Man, I have like an audio recording from a few months back where I was in this place. I was waiting around at a government location. And this guy had a crazy attitude, was asked to leave. And he said, you're treating me like this because I'm black. The guy who was working, the government employee, was a Hispanic guy. And he's like, come on, go away. But he just, right away, oh, it's because I'm black. I'm the only black guy here. Phony person. They just cry racism at the drop of a hat, have no clue what they're talking about. And they're acting erratic. How did they say it? Acting the fool? It's ridiculous. But I don't know about this guy. But cheating is notoriously a black and Hispanic and Democrat thing, right? But the one case, and I mentioned this in Hake News at the end of hour 2, that the Atlantic, the far left outlet, the Atlantic, talks about, reported on, was a white, I put that in quotation marks, I think it's a white, Republican guy named McCrae Dowless, who helped, allegedly, I think he might have been convicted actually, I believe he was convicted of so-called helping, this Republican guy, Harris, in 2018, cheat. Through what? Absentee ballots. That's mail-in voter fraud. He was ballot stuffing, according to affidavits and, I think he was convicted. And if a white Republican is doing it in either North or South Carolina, I forget, then you can be sure that it's common amongst others. Leslie McCrae Dowless, 60-something-year-old white male, junior actually. White dude, I believe. Accounts by people in Bladen County, a huge scheme to stuff the ballot box for Republican Mark Harris using absentee ballots. And I was suggesting it's selective investigation, selective enforcement. These people openly take the side of liberals, blacks, Democrats, anti-Trump madness. They hate Trump, and they hate him for telling the truth about them. The fake news media, the enemy of the people. So, yeah, it's nice that President Trump is continuing to fight. And that's just one small example. Just imagine how many people are dishonest in that way. Either they're losing mail. Oh, you can trust the U.S. Postal Service. You can trust the DMV. You can trust Obamacare. Please. There was a flashback that I didn't mention in Hake News that this is from Revolver News, right? Up to 100,000 fraudulent votes were found in the Chicago, or projected in the Chicago mayoral race. Back in 1987, it was reported in the Chicago Tribune, and it took two reviews found this. 1987. You think we're a more honest society today than in 1987? I don't think so. Oh my gosh, real quick, before I get to calls, lines are full, guys, but I will get to you. Let's play this 12, I think. It's a silent video, so you can just go right into it. You can put me in the lower right corner, like how you do. Look at this. So I'm looking at the website from PA. This was also from Revolver News. Data.pa.gov, Open Data, Pennsylvania, right? And it's the 2020 elections. And so I'm scrolling around here, looking at the November 3rd election, looking at the columns. And so I sort by date of birth. That third column there that I'm looking at, 1800, January 1st, 1800, whole bunch of Democrat voters and whatever and they're people born in 1800 requesting their ballots and submitting their ballots and getting their ballots approved, voting on November 3rd, November 1st, October 26th. People born in 1800, I'm going column after column. 1900, 1899, 1897, 1896. Look at these. And many of them the ballots have been submitted. That's curious. What's going on? 1912, 1913, 1914. These people would be 106 years old or older. 1915, I got this from another Twitter user, and it's not a big name Twitter user, right? It's just we the people, the free press, we the free press, suppressed on Twitter and Facebook and Google and YouTube. Interesting, huh? That's wild. And so I reported that. That was from Revolver News too. They linked to it. I think this one in particular was from a reply under Scott Adams. You know, that Dilbert guy who became pro-Trump. Sort of a libertarian, liberal guy, but he has a little bit of sense. Right onto him. He was on the Jesse Lee Peterson show in 2015 or 2016, and then the Fallen State more recently. So we'll see what happens, right? We shall see. I have more to cover on that, but let me get to some calls. You guys are been patient. Social Pariah, it's been a long time, out of Denver, Colorado. Social Pariah, how are you?
How's it going, Hake?
It's going well. How are you?
Doing well.
Nice.
I just can't believe this election.
Yeah, it's wild, huh? But you kind of expected it, right? I mean, or at least when it comes, it's like, oh, okay, yeah, this makes sense. Knowing these people, don't you think?
Well, I didn't think there were that many morons in America, but I guess there are.
Oh, yeah. Yeah. I mean, think about it. Obama got elected twice.
Well, I mean, you look at D.C. had 90% Biden vote. The swamp. I mean, you know, if that doesn't tell you that that you're voting against the Goliath,
right?
The people on the left just handed Goliath an AK to fight us.
Right.
Morons.
Yeah, that's true. They just exploit any fake value or any trick or tool that can be used for good. They use it for evil, such as discrimination. Right? Discrimination is a basic right. Everybody does it. Everybody should do it, but they discriminate against good on behalf of evil, and we're discriminate against evil on behalf of what's right. But they say, "Oh, you can't discriminate," but then they do it.
And it's so unfair because, I mean, they have unlimited bureaucracy with people that don't have anything other than to calculate ways to deceive and whatnot.
Right. And
most of the people on the right.
And what President Trump said in his great speech yesterday evening, well, evening for his time, 6:30 Eastern, he gave a speech and said, big money, which is the left, big tech, the fake news media, and basically the whole apparatus is to push far left and destroy America. It's enemies of Americans. But yeah, like you said, people are too blind and morons, to use your word, to see it, that they're being used for evil. Useful idiots.
Yeah, it's just, I mean, I do appliance repair, so I'm like in people's homes all the time, and
Yeah.
I don't even know if I'm going to be able to keep doing it because I go into these liberals' homes and I get like a taste of bile in my, mouth whenever I'm working there. I know I need to get rid of the anger, but I'm just
Yeah.
like, I have such vitriol towards them. It's not even funny.
I know what you mean, man. There are a lot of people in your position, probably many more than you know, and we had a great men's forum last night, touched on topics kind of like this, and just be like what you said. You have to get over your anger so that you can, for one, not be bothered by the delusional people. And two, have the wisdom of how to react or not react, Because we can be powerful if we are if we're really right,
It's just frustrating because this is just the tip of the iceberg. I mean,
Right.
yeah, I'm upset that that Trump didn't win, and it's not a certainty that he had. But
Correct. It's not over yet.
I'm
Yep.
pretty sure that it will be in favor of Biden, but
Don't even be sure
Biden,
about that. Just leave it as we'll see what happens.
Yeah, that's kind of. I mean, I'm trying to keep that kind of aspect of it, but whenever imagine what the left, what treachery they've been up to with Trump in office. We've just handed them to Congress and the presidency.
I know. Yep.
It's going to be really hard to stop some of this stuff. I mean, like I said, the bureaucracy is vast, and almost everybody in the bureaucracy in the government is against what Trump was standing for, and mainly the people that are for it are people that have to hold down jobs and have families, and they don't have, the power and wealth behind them. It's going to be hard.
But don't be intimidated by all that stuff. Are you doing the silent prayer? Jesse Lee Peterson's silent prayer?
I did it this morning. I was a lot angrier before I started doing it again.
So
I'm
you stopped doing it and then you started doing it again.
Yeah, I think I needed to recenter and
yeah, man.
You know what I mean?
As the Bible says, we're supposed to seek that God first, not be into be taken away with work or so-called family or politics or the destruction of America or anything.
That was really all I had. I just wanted
right on,
to
man.
weigh in on.
If you're ever in the LA area, make sure you join us for a men's forum. They're excellent. Or, church
really,
or whatever.
I want to just, the COVID and everything, and then I'm working all the time, but I'm
That's
gonna
good.
try.
No worries. You'll be fine.
All right, man.
It's good to hear from you, Social Pariah. Take care. Do not be dismayed, though.
I'm trying my best.
How old are you, if you don't mind my asking?
I'm 51.
Okay. Interesting, man.
Yeah.
Well, it's good to hear from you. We'll see you in church. I don't know, do you normally, I forget if I normally see you in the chat for church with Jesse Lee Peterson.
Yeah, I watch almost every Sunday.
Nice. All right, man.
Yeah.
Keep your chin up. Keep your head up, as Tupac would say.
Yeah, maybe I helped somebody else that was asking the same question. But
Yeah.
Anyway, you have a good one.
You as well. It's good to hear from you. Take care. Guys, you can schedule private one-on-one counseling with Jesse Lee Peterson. You can call in. It's 800-411-BOND, 800-411-2663 to either donate or schedule counseling. And it's by phone or Skype or in person. Or get on the mailing list. We got a new newsletter out. It's cool. And it's recommended if you need it. If you need it. You might not, but it's recommended. It's cool. Let me get to Art in Ohio. He's been on hold for some time. And then Sharon. And then I'll get back to more of this stuff. Art, how are you doing?
I'm all right. God bless you, Hake. First thing first, I gotta get because I got it all crammed in my head.
Okay.
All right. So if we already know as the American people, all this previous 4 years that Trump been in office, y'all been doing all this evil stuff, all this all this stuff. You want me to think all of a sudden just before the election, Nancy Pelosi disappeared. You don't hear nothing from her. Now this is going on, and everybody's hands is clean. And the Democrats, y'all ain't scamming and y'all ain't trying to, we already done seen 4 years of what y'all don't try to do to get him out of office. You don't think that we don't, as American people, don't think that y'all put it far past y'all to cheat ballots?
Right. Yeah, I'm not surprised that they would try to cheat.
I'm not surprised at all neither.
Yeah.
At all. Then my next thing is, okay, and this is another problem that I'm seeming to have. Somebody need to get over in California and figure out what's going on, how they count so fast, and they able to get their counts all up, and they're half of the dang on United States.
Well,
You
even California, I have to cut you off there because, well, not cut you off completely, but interrupt there briefly because California, I saw footage that seemed to indicate that they didn't count all the votes.
I mean, we know that.
Yeah.
Who running it? Nancy Pelosi.
Yep. Oh, yeah. I mean, well, I don't know if it's Nancy
film.
Pelosi herself, but that type of person who would elect Nancy Pelosi, certainly. Same
She's
thing.
in the car with them.
Yep.
They all in the car together.
Yeah.
That's what I'm saying.
Yeah.
You
Good
see what I'm
point.
saying? And my thing, and my thing, and what I'm basically saying is still, how are they able to do whatever they doing with the count and get whatever they got done? And you got little old Georgia, little old South Carolina, Pennsylvania.
Yeah.
And y'all can't count.
Right.
And it's supposed to be America.
All competent, the most powerful country in the world. But then when you look at the people doing this stuff, I thought I saw right. I thought I saw footage, and many of you have probably seen this. I retweeted it, I think. I did retweet it on my James Anton Hake Twitter account. That there's this guy, old black guy, heavyset, looking around, and then he appears to fill in a ballot. Was it his own ballot or somebody else's, or what was going on there? And it looked mighty suspicious because he was like looking around, oh, suspicious. So I don't know, shenanigans, right?
I'm just so over this election fraud stuff, and you can't trust the feds or whatnot. But at this point, after 2020, I don't want to hear no more excuse. If you in America, they need to start. If you basically sign up to vote, the feds need to send out something that is like money that got like a strip in it, that where you know it's a real ballot. Ain't no
with
more
a watermark.
Something.
Right.
Ain't no more that you voting from 1800 and you've been dead for 200 years and you voting in 2020.
Well, I mean, somebody requested on their behalf a mail-in ballot, and that was approved.
It's America, man.
Yeah.
It's America. That shouldn't be happening, man.
Yeah, I agree.
Simple as that, man.
Yep.
Should nobody be getting a whole bunch of ballots sent to their house, man?
Yeah,
This is crazy.
Yeah.
Go ahead.
Well, you heard about Thailand in the Jesse Lee Peterson show. I think it was towards the beginning of the third hour today, about all those degenerates protesting the banning of Pornhub in their country, in Thailand. And it was reported, Jesse reported it, that it is a whole lot of meaningless elections and voter fraud and all kinds of stuff. Those are the corrupt countries.
I'm worried about what. Go ahead, I'm listening.
But the point is, those are the corrupt countries. 17 rewritten constitutions. Those are the corrupt countries from which, and the corrupt cultures that are infecting America for the immigration policy. Yeah.
Well, we know that.
And then many black Americans are every bit as corrupt, and then a few whites too. It's crazy.
My thing is this, man, and this is what gets me about the whites or whatnot. Just like Jesse said, they just been sitting back, patting their leg, and not saying nothing. Now you got all these females, and it's so crazy because when I'm starting to see it is just the foreign females and the black females and they're trying to run stuff, and they're trying to shun the white females out.
Yeah.
They're trying to basically belittle the white females, and the white females can't even be. So y'all don't sit back and let all this go on, and now y'all don't let the beta for females come over,
Right.
basically trying to steal the white men and tear up the homes, like the girl who's basically, what was that, said that about 50 Cent, you ain't black, what's her name?
Oh, yeah.
What females
Shoot.
that don't know their place, they want to
Not
always
Schumer.
try to tell you how you should think, or try to tell the female, you too good for him, you don't need him. Why don't you worry about what you got going on in your relationship, those 10 relationships you don't have in 1 year.
Yeah.
See what I'm saying?
I do.
And well, you know what? And if Trump go ahead and figure it out, I need y'all to go to Arizona, California, Georgia, any place that was messing up, having problems with letting people come in there to make sure them counts was right, they need to be disqualified, point blank, period, man. We all grown ups. If you can't count and you can't be an honorable person and let people come in and watch you do your job and be righteous and count them legally, then you don't need to be participating in the vote. So as far as I'm concerned, Pennsylvania's disqualified, and any other place that was causing problems, even California, if you don't want to participate the right way that American elections should be going, American citizens vote count, you will be disqualified. And if we need to put charges on you, and you need to lawyer up, because you're going to get federal charges.
Yeah. I mean, the problem is the lawyers are corrupt, the courts are corrupt. We have to keep on fighting in every way that we can, and it's been awesome, and it's been fun. I've been heartened to see a whole lot of people showing up outside these places, like in Arizona. Cernovich has done some things in Arizona. A whole bunch of people show up to support Trump and to support honest elections. Very nice.
Yeah. One more thing, and I'm going to go ahead and let you go get on to the other call. Go ahead, if y'all want to vote for pedophiles and all these females down there, colored females down there in New Mexico, like, we don't see the immoral stuff that y'all doing. My thing is this, you should be scared that the times you going in and everything's so immoral, there's a whole bunch of females trying to take mother freaking lead. You see what I'm saying? But guess what? How the saying goes, when daddy's gone, the kids will roam. And guess what? And we know how boys do when the mother is running the house and ain't no dad there. We take advantage of the female. So if you don't see that America's about to be turned upside down or whatnot, then I don't know what you watching. And then if I say they can go get their little stepdaddy to try to help them watch the kids, it ain't gonna work. It's over with, man. Are you calling
a candidate in New Mexico a pedophile?
No, I'm just saying the Democratic Party, period.
Oh, okay. They are. They violate kids like crazy. I have a quote.
Yes, they do.
Yep. They pretend that they're their friends. Like, oh, we're fighting against bullying and on behalf of LGBTQIA kids.
Let me give you three things.
It's degenerate.
First of all, let me give you the first three things. First of all, y'all support child abortion. Second of all, y'all support all that over the border mess.
Right.
Third of all, y'all support breaking up the families and having the kids. Oh man, all that stuff, man, coming from that side, man.
Yeah, that's violating children. And they pretend that's so phony. These people pretend, oh, Trump is breaking up families. These people are breaking up their families by coming over here illegally. Yeah. And in many cases, they're not even the real children. They're coyotes. And some of these people act like they don't even know what coyotes are. So funny.
Yeah, they know what that stuff means.
They're using the children as a scam to be allowed to stay in the country. Yeah.
Yes,
it's ridiculous.
They are. Yes,
They don't love their children.
It's all good, man. It's all good. And everything's going to backfire. And I'm just saying, like, I don't know.
Yeah,
I'm
that's
cool.
true.
I'm not gonna be crying. I'm not gonna cry if Trump lose. I'm cool. I'm a grown man. If he lost fair and square, then that's cool. But don't cheat him.
Right. We know that he didn't lose fair and square. He's winning.
Yeah, we know he ain't lose. We know he ain't lose. First, and one more thing, man. If you can't wake up and see Are you telling me that all these people is going to these dang on Trump rallies?
Exactly.
And you mean to tell me allegedly all these people are so-called old that voted for Trump and they didn't go to none of his Biden? I mean, go to all these people that are old that went to these Biden rallies and they or didn't come to these Biden rallies? Or you mean to tell me that everybody was old that was coming to the Biden, allegedly coming to the didn't come to the Biden rallies?
Yeah,
Trump rallies was packed.
More people are showing up just spontaneously in Arizona and different states to protest on behalf of on behalf of honest elections and Trump's election, the stolen election, than show up at Biden rallies. It's ridiculous.
Exactly. Well,
If you can even call them rallies.
Yeah. Well, don't nobody be at them, and I've been watching on the, where I be watching YouTube,
Right.
and I be noticing when Trump be on his, it's always 500,000 viewers or a whole bunch of people at the crowd, and then you look at Biden, it's only 1,000 people watching it on CNN,
Max.
and ain't nobody at the rally.
Right.
Who do you think you're fooling?
And they're getting.
I mean, you think I'm a dummy or something?
And that's with algorithm support from YouTube. They prop up CNN like crazy. Yep.
Exactly. You got everybody, all these people got it. There's like 5 people, 100 people going against one Donald Trump.
I know.
Y'all are so lame. Y'all are lame. All you Democratic liberals, you are lame.
Yeah.
It's 100 of y'all going against one old little Donald Trump, and still can't beat him.
That's a man of power.
Pedophiles. That's a man of power, man.
Yeah.
I'm out of here, man.
Thank you,
God
Art.
bless you.
Appreciate you too.
Yes, sir. All of y'all. Yes, sir.
All right. I'm going to get right to Sharon, but hang on, Sharon. I just got to read off some super chats. Based AF, Based America First, says, Happy Friday. Happy Friday, with a generous super chat through streamlabs.com/The Hake Report. Thank you to Jib Jab, Hot Computer Smell, Clovera, and all you guys who've been supporting on the Streamlabs side. You know, YouTube demonetized me. And then they suspended me for 2 weeks for some fake violation, right? Or a couple of them. Mo Betta Stand Up, nice to see you with the diamonds, says, caller be like, hide your kids, hide your wife, except straight. And Mo Betta Stand Up says, Dem strategy seen in Nebraska, cut us in half, California to New York. Interesting. And Ev Jenny Crosby, 2020, with the faithful support, says, he says, I'm getting drunk, high, suffering, and dying. Bye, USA. Don't do that. Keep cool. Jesse Lee Peterson hosting the show on DLive.tv. Appreciate that. Make sure you catch Jesse Lee, Church with Jesse Lee Peterson. And I think JLP Plays will be coming back soon, all right? So don't forget about JLP Plays. We will be back, I think. Based AF, Based America First with the diamond again. Lin Yan Chin, nice to see ya, with the diamond, a couple of them. And says, Hake, you are hating on immortals of the 1800s. Yeah, Joel's like, what are they? They're 200. Jesse Lee Peterson says you can live forever. Well, that means that those votes went for Trump because no live forever person would vote for Biden, right? Lin Yan Chin says, they are so immortal, they are immortal Democrats. Mobita Stand Up, LOL at Lin Yan Chin, yes. And he also said, Lin Yan Chin says, meant immorality, based immortality. Nosferatu-like. I think that might be a anime reference. I don't know my anime. I'm not that degenerate. No, I'm playing. A little bit of stand-up says, all godly people move to Texas, build the wall plus the National Guard. I don't know, man, but interesting. But I think that I say we stay here and fight it out. Right? To quote Army of Darkness. Vampires. Nosferatu, says Nick. And Joel says, according to SpongeBob. What's according to SpongeBob? It's funny.
It's an episode where it's just an inside joke.
Okay. It's basically an inside
Nick
joke.
knows.
Yeah. It's a cult joke. Cult following joke, right? Anyway, cult classic joke. Not like you guys are in a cult. I don't think. Mobetta Stand Up with another diamond says, then the globalist libs will not be able to touch us when we all move to Texas and stuff. I don't know, man. Like I said, I say, go ahead and run home and cry to mama. Think about the people in Texas. It's chock full of rhinos, man. I mean, those guys got to turn around, and many of them are. So right on to Texas. I still love you. I love the South more, the real South. Texas, many Texans seem to want to betray the South and betray the Confederate flag. And not that the Texans ever had the Confederate flag, but they want to join in the hate against the South. And didn't Texas produce the Bushes? But anyway, I don't want to drag on with that. Lin Yan Chin says, seek first the kingdom of Gundam. Pew, pew, boom. Okay, man. Appreciate that. Philosopher with a diamond. And with several gifted subscriptions to users on the channel. Congrats to Fan of the Ladies, Fundamental Bear, Mr. Gnargus, Reckless Bandito, Based America First, Based AF, Noah's Ark, Kansas with the diamond, Mo Betta Stand-Up says, oh yeah, I said that one. Nice, appreciate that. And he also says, Mo Betta Stand-Up says, careful non-live forever may appear anti-Semitic. Non-live forever. Because I'm not sure what that's a reference to, but I know that back in Jesus' time, he actually agreed with the Pharisees on one thing over the Sadducees. The Sadducees said there is no resurrection from the dead, but the Pharisees said there is resurrection from the dead, and Jesus sided with them. Interesting, saying God is not the God of the dead, but of the living. Interesting, huh? Or maybe it's a reference to them taking baby body parts or baby body blood or something like that into their system, adrenochrome, to live forever. I don't know. You guys know more about that stuff than I do. Lin Yan Chin gave a diamond and says, Nosferatu equals Dracula, his alias. Man, the Japanese name for it, huh? I have a Chinese name. Did you know that? Because I took Chinese with a buddy of mine. I'll tell it to you later. I don't want to get too much into that. I got to get to Sharon in Philadelphia. She's been on hold forever. A first-time caller from Philly. Sharon, how are you doing?
I'm all is well. How are you, James?
I'm fine, too. Nice to hear from you.
It's a pleasure to speak with you.
Appreciate you calling and hanging on, too.
Absolutely. Of course. I don't know how I'm going to follow that act of the gentleman before me because he took the words out of my mouth. Everything he said was spot on.
Yeah.
Spot on. I'm here in Philadelphia, and I want you to know, in terms of Philly, it's kind of broken up into like four areas. It's South Philly, West Philly, North Philly, Northeast Philly. And Northeast Philly is like the suburbs. And I saw Trump everything. Trump masks, Trump hats, Trump flags. I thought we had this in the bag. When I went to sleep on November 3rd,
yeah.
I saw a beautiful red mat, and I laid my head to rest. And then I woke up, and I said, what the hell happened?
Wow.
And now they're trying to take PA.
Right.
I'm telling you, firsthand, this is MAGA country. This is Trump Town, USA, Pennsylvania.
Wow.
Exactly as the gentleman said before.
Yeah.
How is it that Trump is drawing crowds of literally hundreds of thousands of people, millions of people who are watching him, and you mean to tell me all these people are voting? Biden gets more votes than Obama? 3.5 million votes for Biden, and yet only 3 million are registered?
Well, you know what? It's interesting because I do believe that there is higher turnout overall because there is an endless push by social media and mainstream media and every Uber and Google and all these Yelp and all this stuff pushing for people to vote, for every idiot to vote. SoundCloud is where Trump rappers, well, I don't want to bet down on SoundCloud because there's some good guys on there, Jesse Lou Peterson and I think Big Bump is on there. But SoundCloud is where like rappers go and they advertise to vote, and it's like promoting this pro-voting, like LGBTQ friendly madness. It's degenerate. So I do believe that is happening, but you're right. There's some cases more people voting than are registered.
James. Even with that, James, I swear I don't see it. I don't see it here.
Right.
I don't see it.
No energy.
Yeah, there are, look, Jews and Democrats. I'm a Jew for Jesus.
Nice.
Hallelujah. Yes, actually, because of Jesse, I've come to Jesus. Though I
Wow.
can't call myself a Christian. I don't know why. It's a Jewish thing, maybe. But I'm
Okay.
a Jew for Jesus, nevertheless.
All right.
And I don't see it. I don't see the support even among the blacks. I saw a bunch of black people wearing blacks for Trump and Latinos for Trump. I don't see it. Maybe in the areas like in West Philly, North Philly, yes, and those deep-rooted Democrats who have been here and they're registered and all of that. But even them, I'm appalled. And I'm appalled because even with myself, I swear, I went all red, and I was forced to vote for a Republican woman. I don't want a Republican woman. I'll be honest, I would prefer a man.
Right. I voted for a Democrat woman. I presume she's a Democrat, a black woman, for the county DA. But you know why I did it? Because her opponent, which is a Hispanic or white something male, is supported by George Soros and like Kamala Harris and just the worst of the worst. And the Black Lives Matter co-founder, Patrisse Cullors. No, not Holly Mitchell. I'm talking about Jackie Lacey. I voted for Jackie Lacey. There was this Gordon Gascon guy. I might drag that article that I found into for people for Joel to show it to you guys later. But it's crazy. You really have to vote for like some sanity, people with a little bit of sanity, even if because they're really pushing far just off the deep end evil attacks on.
And where is the GOP? Why haven't they stood up for Trump?
Yeah, cowards.
Why?
Because they were this way before he won. But when they thought that he was going to lose, they were condemning him like crazy, including Nikki Haley, the traitor governor of one of the Carolinas, who took away the Confederate flag. She is barely paying any lip service to this.
No one is.
Travesty.
Only Rudy Giuliani. May there be a statue erected in his honor in New York City. I'm originally a New Yorker.
Nice.
Several years ago, I moved to Philadelphia. Man, if I can't have solace here, where do I go? I can't run away.
Right.
I'm literally watching my country being stolen in front of our eyes.
Yeah.
And I can only pray that this will go to the Supreme Court, really, and God willing that it goes. The best that could happen is 6-3, but we can't trust. It's very interesting because you're always talking about how we can't trust Amy Coney Barrett,
Yeah.
but it's really the man who has demonstrated himself that he can't be trusted, that Roberts.
Yeah, Roberts and
right?
even Gorsuch and Kavanaugh have let us down in different cases. It's crazy.
Are you referring with the DACA? They just needed more paperwork. But
no, I'm not referring to DACA. Yeah, I understand the DACA one. I'm referring to, like, I think Gorsuch voted to give away half of Oklahoma and let some rapist off. Remember? And there's been case after case where these people act like rhinos, and you can just tell they're kind of weak with women and kind of kiss up and fall for the race thing a little bit. And the only really solid guy is Justice Clarence Thomas. And Alito might be good too. Yeah.
Alito, isn't he a Democrat?
I think, no. There's Breyer, who's a Democrat.
Oh, yeah,
Samuel Alito sides with Justice Clarence Thomas a lot.
I pray. I believe this will go to the Supreme Court, and it will be Justice Clarence Thomas, who writes the majority opinion. I'm praying that this goes, because this is unbelievable. Every time I close my eyes and I wake up, it gets bluer and bluer and bluer.
Don't worry. Don't fret at the outside world, because Trump is not giving up. And that's nice to see. And we cannot stop either. You notice that when the left loses, they don't stop fighting. So we should fight for what's right and not stop fighting and keep on pushing and push hard, because they push hard for just outright full-blown evil. They overreact to liberals like Fox News and all these people. They are just off the deep end beside themselves, fighting against anything even remotely similar to what's right, we should be that way against evil and smarter.
Yes, I agree, and I've encouraged everyone I know to be brave, have faith, and continue to speak up and speak out. Don't resent, like Jesse says.
Yeah.
And, keep fighting the good fight, because we can't just close our eyes and say, okay, no problem. Thank
Right.
you.
I think I voted for a black male Democrat just because I didn't want Holly Mitchell to win. I think I voted for Herb Wesson, but probably shouldn't have even done that. But I think that she won anyway, because it's just, the evil people are.
How are we going to know? Even
I know.
The Supreme Court, right? Because I do believe in my heart that it is a battle between good and evil, and we mustn't anyway. But what about the Senate? Well, look at what they did to, what's his name, John James in Michigan. How is it that he was up? He won, and then they took it away from him.
That's crazy. I'm not familiar with that.
Yeah, and now
case.
We're losing the Senate majority. Everything, it's just crumbling before our eyes.
Yeah, corruption. I think that's what it is. But there's a whole lot of there's been a mass brainwashing operation going on for 150 years. 150 years, more like, and it's ramped up. It's ramped up definitely in the last 4, because it's in a crazy overreaction to Trump. But the sane people, and I think about it, it's like there's honest people there's like people who have like an honest mind, like a don't cheat type of a mind amongst both liberals and conservatives. And some of them are naive and think, they wouldn't cheat, would they? But meanwhile, like these shameless people have no shame about cheating, either sneakily or openly.
And what I find solace in is what Jesse and yourself have been saying, that he's been calling this all along. He said that they would try to cheat.
Yeah.
And I can't help but hope that he's planned for this, along with his lawyers and everything that they're doing. We are winning court battles, which is good. It's really hard for me to stay hopeful. I don't know. Like, I don't want to live in an America without Trump. I just don't.
I know what you mean. But imagine, like, we didn't even know there was a Trump. I definitely didn't. He came out of nowhere. I mean, I had seen him here and there over the years, and I liked what he would have to say sometimes. But I had no idea he had this kind of staying power and energy and boldness.
And James, the funny thing is that even in spite and despite of the whole COVID nonsense, I believe that actually empowered his base. I saw more people going for Trump, being empowered by Trump, and it's just typical. Whenever evil tries to plan and scheme, good always comes from it, because God wins. I believe that.
Yeah.
I believe that. And so I have to remain positive in my heart, but it's sometimes hard. I don't want my son to grow up in this America. I just don't.
But
And
if you raise him right, he'll be strong and ready for it.
Yes, but it's my fault. I had sex out of wedlock, and now the father wants nothing to do with him because of me, and I acknowledge all of that.
But I went to
forgive my mother, and I do the silent prayer.
Right on. Because all that stuff is redeemable. Look at what Trump did in his past. And his kids some of them seem to be suffering a bit. They're going astray in certain ways, but they're also like...
Ooh, like which? No.
Well, that guy, Don Jr., he's with an older woman that he shouldn't be with after divorce, and he has 4 or 5 kids. So
she's older
suffering.
than him?
Yeah, big time. Like 9 years older than him, almost. Or 7.
Really?
Yeah.
And if that's the case, may I ask, does it even, let's say both people have come out of a fallen state, will it never, ever, ever work if the woman's older?
I'm not saying it won't. It's just that, look at the situation. It's a divorce and remarriage. She is significantly older than him. And they've both been married before. Both have children. It's wrong. Divorce and remarriage is not right. But let's say they do get remarried. Even then, like they can wake up and do what's right, given that what's done is done, type of a thing. But it's really ill-advised. And then his daughter, the older pretty one,
But the exception isn't always the rule. And the rule isn't always the exception.
I know,
right?
but
Maybe
we have to
have
stick with what's
something
right.
grand. That's
And
fair,
he's
but we
headed
also
for
don't
trouble.
know in my thinking, what I was hoping was a legacy of Trump. So I was hoping 4 more years of Donald Trump, and then another 4 years because they took 4 years from him. So really 8 more years of Donald Trump, and then 8 years of
12.
Trump Jr., and then 8 years of Barron. Just the legacy, King Trump.
That would be fun. It would be fun, but let's not worry about the future. Just stick with right now, and we can deal with it.
All right.
And if you want private counseling, or if your son is open to counseling, you can call the bond office. Okay. Oh, nice.
Yeah.
Well, I appreciate you, Sharon.
Thank you so much for taking my call. Have a lovely day.
You too. Take care.
Bye.
Bye. Interesting, huh? I'm going to get right back to callers, and I do have some other things to cover. This fake religion called journalism. It's really communism, anti-Americanism. It's really evil. And they are taking down all decent people, or they're trying to. But I have a whole bunch of people on the line from all across the country to talk to. And I'll be back in just a couple of minutes here. Okay, guys? Stay tuned for the rest of... We're into hour 2, but stay tuned for the rest of hour 2. In a couple of minutes, I'll be right back. And we're back, guys. Appreciate you hanging in there. It's pretty crazy. Journalism is a phony religion. They want to comfort the afflicted and afflict the comfortable. Sick, huh? Phony. It's kind of like Satan's take on Satan's false imitation of God opposes the proud but gives grace to the humble. Because these people are arrogant. The most arrogant, I don't know if they're the most arrogant, but some of the most arrogant, deceitful, deceptive, self-important people that you can think of, so-called journalists. And they side with fellow deceptive, evil, prideful, blind people, such as, the black SJWs, the LGBTQIA SJWs, the arrogant, egotistical female, feminists who hate men. And it's just disgusting. And I came across a couple of articles because I was looking this up because I had cited this fake notion before. Comfort the afflicted and afflict the comfortable. That means let's let's coddle the poor black people. And meanwhile, let's bash white people. That's an idea of or let's go after the rich and feel sorry for the poor, especially the communist ones, so-called poor. There's nobody poor in this country, especially not the people that they're taking up for. And so I got this article from Pointer, which is a far-left outlet, no doubt. Today in media history, Mr. Dooley, the job of the newspaper is to comfort the afflicted and afflict the comfortable. I have these screenshots, just a couple of these ridiculous articles, right? And that's not exactly what the real quote is, but this thing has been floating around as a value by these people who lack values to be activists rather than straightforward facts-based journalists and paying attention to what's important. No, they take it upon themselves to be agitators, activists, subverters, disruptors for the fake values, subvert the country. And Pulitzer covered this. Pulitzer is a corrupt organization too. The Pulitzer Prizes, and they gave this, I guess this was in 2005 or so, power, abuse, and accountability. Yeah, who is holding the media accountable? We the people are. And they're trying to suppress us, right? And President Donald Trump is. And they're trying to suppress him and take him out. But a voice, here's another line, phony line, a voice for the underdog and underprivileged. Who's more of an underdog and underprivileged than, let's say, I don't know, the alt-right? Those people who's more suppressed and marginalized than the alt-right, you know? Have you even heard of those people anymore? Like, they're getting kicked off of everything. Underprivileged is such a weak word, too. Yeah, it's such a liberal word. It really is. Underserved is another liberal word. No, in fact, these people are overserved. And that's what's undermining them. Because people have power that they don't know, or ability that they don't know. It's crazy. They can, if they aren't spoiled, they can succeed. But if they're spoiled, they're gonna just wallow in that spoiling. That article that I just showed you was an article about some female journalist, Connie Schultz, who did a hit piece on some local small businesses about tips policy, right, for the industry workers. Oh, where do the tips go to? Oh, only management. We don't get it. It's saved up for a Christmas party or whatever. Whatever. You made the deal. And they put this out on Labor Day, which is a communist fake holiday, by the way. The time-honored purpose, or a time-honored purpose in journalism, comfort the afflicted and afflict the comfortable. Nobody's holding them in check. Only a few people are. It originated during journalism's muckraking days, more than 100 years ago. Some humorous guy named Finley Peter Dunne. Finley Peter Dunne, D-U-N-N-E. Put it out under the fake name, who's that? Connie. Oh, that's Connie Schultz? Dang. And so she's asking people about tips, which is like private business, you know? Look, she has an iWatch. Is that an iWatch? I don't know. But the newspaper does everything for us. It runs the police force and the banks, commands the military, I guess, controls the legislature, baptizes the young, marries the foolish, comforts the afflicted, afflicts the comfort, buries the dead, and roasts them afterwards. So they say. In 2013, some blog talked about this fake and perverted value as seemingly having come from Christianity. God comforts the afflicted and afflicts the comfortable. Sounds like liberalism seeping into religion and subverting it, you know, turning it fake and female. I'd never heard the phrase before communist poser journalists started pushing this stupid idea. But who's like, Trump is the voice of the people, like the people who want the truth to be told. He's the only voice in the government. You hear people say, we have no representation. I hear it from people on the right. Say, we have no representation, especially whites. And they're not wrong. But Trump is acting in that way. And they can't stand even one person. Luckily, it's the president. That's nice. And he earned that presidency big time. But, you know, there's communists in the street rioting every day, even in New York City. Have you heard about it much? I haven't heard about it at all, except for one article linked from Revolver News. And they try to say, oh, it's mostly peaceful protesters, but there's agitators trying to hijack it. Just make every excuse for these people who are not peaceful. They don't have no reason to be out there protesting. Most of these people. All of them, if they're on the left, right? Crazy. Anyway, a few more quick super chats. Comfort the afflicted and afflict the comfortable? Asks Lin Yen Chin. Lin Yen Chin says, let me go back to reach to where I haven't gone before, right? Mo Betta stand-up says, not too late to make your Philly great-great-grandma's voice heard, says Philly electioneer November 6th. Oh, yeah. I put a HN, short for Hake News, little thing back in that folder, Joel, from yesterday about blacks cheating. And some of these were in Philly. You know how you hear America first? Well, there was this sign being posted, electioneering, vote Philly first. And that's right outside a polling place on election day. And I saw this on the feed of a independent journalist, also an activist, on his Telegram. I mentioned this yesterday, Vincent James. It says, vote for Joe Biden and Kamala Harris and such Shapiro and such Ahmad Torcella Boyle. And that is a huge poster right outside the polling place. And then you see this guy who's handing stuff on the left. If you were looking at the video, there's this tall black guy wearing a hold on face shield and mask, handing out this same poster, just a smaller form in terms of tips on how to vote inside the polling place, giving them cheat sheets on who to vote for. And then in the middle, you see this woman, if you're looking at the video. You can check it on my Instagram and stuff, and on my Hake News from yesterday. Hake News, thehakereport.com. Click on news. And it's yesterday's, which is Thursday. This woman was allegedly stuffing the ballot box with a whole bunch of ballots. And that's illegal, by the way. But they don't mind cheating. Just brazenly doing it. And there are some of us who are like, would they really cheat? Yep, they would. No morals. And so that's Philly, and so Mo Betta stand-up references the great-great-grandma voting before women even could vote. November 6th. Make sure you can make your voice heard, the Friday after the Tuesday of voting day. Funny. A whole lot of dead people and 100-plus-year-old people voting for Biden? I don't think so. If you made it to 100, I think you're wiser than to vote for Biden. Most of you. Well, some of wouldn't be. Noah's Ark, Kansas with the diamond. Thank you. Lin Yen Chin says, scholasticism. Worship of man's opinions above God. Yeah. And they just speculate and spout things off as fact, call people racist with no clue about what they're talking about. Lin Yen Chin gave a diamond. Facts are feelings of Pharisees held as truth. Interesting. And he says, comfort the afflicted and afflict the comfortable. So play God like Mama taught him. Yeah. That's a question, but yes, I think that's true. That's accurate. These journalists playing God, like they try to get women to play God. Oh, it's a woman's choice to kill the baby inside the womb. Man has no say. Mo Betta stand-up gave a diamond. Noah's Ark, Kansas. Oh, the art going up. Mo Betta stand-up says, diamond for other experts' input into the Hake show today. Yeah, these degenerates know all about SpongeBob and which is, never mind. And vampires, Nosferatu. So yeah, right on. I'll be sure to pass that on, maybe. Noah's Ark, Kansas says diamond for Mo Betta. Jen, Mo Betta stand-up. Nice. Appreciate the support, guys. That's cool. Let me get to Ty in Pennsylvania. It's been on hold forever. Ty, how are you doing?
Hey, what's up, man? How you doing?
I'm doing fine. Thank you for holding.
All right, I'm in the chat. I'm a police officer in PA.
Nice.
The thing is, a lot of people talk about morals, and by all means, I'm not bashing you or Jesse Lee. I love both of your shows.
Yeah.
But I think Trump, when you look at morals, you got to look at Trump. This guy's been married 3 times. He has all these bankruptcies. And a lot of people, you know, and I'm not even in PA. I'm not even in Philadelphia. But a lot of people around me, white, black, Hispanic, Chinese, everything, they all went for Biden.
Shameful.
What's your thoughts on that?
I think that's a shame to vote for Biden. It's ridiculous. I think it's a sign of immorality. I don't know how a bankruptcy is immoral, but I mentioned.
What about 3 wives?
I mentioned the wives thing earlier this hour, and his kids are suffering for that. They're making bad choices just like their father did.
Yeah, I think he was a terrible. I would have went for Kasich in the Republican Party. But
Really?
Trump's no good.
Kasich is a phony. Ty, don't be a sucker.
No,
Trump is so much.
Kasich
Hold
would've been
on, Ty. You're judging Trump for his past. He can't do anything about his past. You would have voted. You would have voted against King David.
2 wives, but 3 wives. Come on.
You know how many wives King David had? Ty, do you know how many wives King David had?
How many?
Many more than 3.
When was King David
in the Old Testament?
Oh, okay.
What's your point? What's your point, Ty? Ty, what's your point?
I was just making a general statement that Trump.
It sounds like you're judging him when you don't know his heart. You're just judging him based on what you know about his past.
Well, I think he pretty much showed his heart the entire 4 years.
I know, and it's been awesome by telling the truth.
He hasn't done anything for anybody.
Yes, he has.
There's a bunch of lies.
You're the one lying.
No.
Yes, you are.
You can't be lying.
And you're a cop.
Possible.
You're a cop. All cops are supposed to be awesome. What the heck is wrong with you?
No, a lot of it. Trust me. A lot of people can't say it. I'm not gonna say what police station I work for or police court, but trust me when I say this. A lot of cops voted for Biden in this election.
That's a shame. A lot of dishonest ones and fake judgmental ones, including you, man. How long you been listening?
I've been listening to Jesse Lee for about 3 years. I started listening to you like in April.
Nice, man. I appreciate that. But how do you fall for? Trump has been telling the truth. He's like the lone voice of reason inside the government. How do you miss that?
One thing about Trump, he's never told the truth.
Yeah, come on. What the heck?
He didn't even tell the truth about COVID-19.
Yeah, he did.
No.
Yes, he did.
He told everybody, don't even worry about anything. It's undercover. We're in what, November?
Uh-huh.
COVID is still running rampant?
It's not running rampant. The shutdowns are rampant.
Yeah.
The deaths, have you noticed, Ty, the deaths are going down?
Well, I think more people are being cautious.
And?
That's why the deaths are going down. More people are wearing masks, more people
come on. It's the disease has been overhyped in order to grab power.
Respectfully, I don't call your show to like troll or.
No, I know.
Yeah, respectfully. So
yeah.
If the Democrats are, by all means I'm not Democrat, but this is the first time I voted Democrat.
Really?
I wanted Trump out of here.
Wow.
So how is it that he's winning the popular vote and he's about to win the electoral college?
Scams. A whole lot of shenanigans. You listen to Hake News, man.
It can't be.
Shenanigans. What do you mean it can't be? You think Trump is dishonest? Wait till you hear about the Democrats. Or you probably won't hear about it. You have to look into it.
So give me an example of what the Democrats have done that's fraud. Fraud that you can prove.
Well, just look at the PA website. There are people who have voted who are born in 1915, 1900, 1800, 1899. Please.
No.
Well, you're just saying no. Now you're just denying reality.
What happened was...
You're acting kind of like a typical black who just denies reality.
Well, I'm mixed race. My mother's white. My dad's black. But however...
Those are the worst kind. I'm joking, but I'm kind of serious. Have you seen that guy from ER or that young guy, Jason? I don't know. There's some radicals who are mixed. Radical black. I'm not calling you a radical necessarily. I think you're just kind of blind and brainwashed. But there are some really evil people who really overcompensate or something. They just hate, go out of their way to be SJW, kiss up to the black female liberal. And I know you don't support Black Lives Matter.
That's not what goes on with us. By all means, I'm not kissing up to any liberal.
No, I know, but how are you going to judge Trump and pretend that voting for a Democrat is the moral thing to do? Those people support abortion like crazy. They support the LGBTQ madness. How old are you?
Me, I'm 37.
Nice. And you're a cop in Philly?
No, not in Philly.
Okay.
I can't say what town now.
No, I don't blame you. Yeah. Well, man, I wish you well, but you got to pay more attention. I mean, it's not paying more attention. Do you do Jesse Lee Peterson's silent prayer?
Yeah.
You do? Nice.
Yeah.
Well, don't be so quick to judge against Trump. I mean, yeah, he has a bad past. I even mentioned it. And are you one of those people that think Jesse Lee Peterson is one of those, they think, oh, he's a hypocrite because he had a child out of wedlock? You don't fall for that, do you?
No, I think,
people have a past.
I think a child is a blessing from God, but however, in that situation, I bash Trump because if everybody, makes a mistake or have a poor judgment of somebody, or, they could get involved with a woman or a man that's no good, or you find out later. But the guy's been married 3 times.
But listen.
He's still lying to the American people.
No, he hasn't lied to the American people. He's told us the truth, and it's been so nice to hear the truth that we already know coming from somebody who's inside the government. It's so refreshing. We haven't heard that in so long. If you were rich and powerful and born and raised in New York, who's to say you wouldn't have fallen to the same temptations, though, man? It seems, and I'm not making excuses. It's wrong what he did. But all these people get all high and mighty about morals when the only difference between them and Trump is they have a weaker personality and less money and less temptation. You know what I mean?
Well, my history is I had family members that had a lot of money in New York. I just moved to PA because of the job opportunity.
Yeah.
But I know a fraud when I see him.
No, you don't.
Yeah.
No.
I'm telling you.
You do not.
If Trump loses the election, watch he's going to get arrested for tax evasion.
Oh gosh, please.
Trust me, I know some people high in New York.
Well, pay attention to pay attention to when you're wrong, okay? Because you're going to be proven wrong, and you're going to have to eat your words, and you're going to have to start to look at yourself.
All right. Well,
because he's a genuine, Trump is the most genuine person who has been in political office of my lifetime. The only other person who's genuine up there on that level is Clarence Thomas.
No,
a solid guy.
Barack Obama was a genuine guy.
No, man, you fell for it.
Barack, there's one thing I'll say. I always voted to the right.
Yeah.
When Barack Obama came in, it was the economy was smashed, the housing market was crashed.
Right.
The stock market was crashed.
Yep.
Trump. One thing I'll say, Trump, he did a better job than George Bush. I'll give him that.
George or W. Yeah. Man, Obama exposed a lot of you guys as phony black rhinos. You know what I mean? Because you guys supported a man who, if you would have listened to Sean Hannity and Jesse Lee Peterson, and I understand you didn't know Jesse until 3 years ago, right?
Yeah,
But he knew ahead of time that Obama was for same-sex marriage. And I don't know where you stand on that issue, but Obama has always been a phony, a liar.
No.
And to this day, he's a liar, man. He's so phony, man. What the heck? But it's good to hear from you, man.
All right, bro.
We'll talk
keep
more.
Up the good work, and I'm supporting you guys still.
Appreciate
Even though
that.
We don't agree on Trump.
No worries. Take
All
care,
right.
man. Drop the dear. Oh no, he doesn't say drop. Mo Betta stand up. Hey Ty, I didn't catch this, but Mo Betta stand up has a diamond for me to relay a message to you. Dear Cop Call, Antifa threw pee bottles at you and vote Biden. Interesting. I don't know if Antifa voted for Biden. They want to overthrow America, and Biden would be part of the destruction of America, definitely. Turtle No Neck says, how do you vote for Bush but not Trump? SMH. Did he say he voted for Bush? He voted for Obama, and he thought Obama was genuine. Man, that's embarrassing. Oh, okay. Let me first get to David, a first-time caller in Pomona, California. I got, the line's full. The lines are full. And so we got to keep moving. Let me first get to David in Pomona, California. A great place. What's up, David?
Hey, what's up, James? How are you?
Doing fine. How are you?
I'm well, too.
Nice.
Okay. So, I wanted to talk to you a little bit about Western civilization.
Have you called before to my show?
No, I called Jesse, though.
Okay.
All right,
Western civilization.
Yeah, Western civilization. So this is something I hear conservatives complain about a lot. I hear them complain that Western civilization is at a destruction, and I don't really know what that means. Like, I don't know what these values are that they're referring to. It seems to be a very amorphous term. And it seems to always get rolled into the idea that race plays into these values. And whenever I talk about, struggles of other social groups, I always hear, well, race shouldn't matter. Race shouldn't matter about Black Lives Matter because we're all Americans or things like that. And I guess, and at the same time, I hear that there's a destruction of the white race happening. So why should race be the deciding factor where we divide our people? My question would be to you is, like, what do you think about this? And then the challenge question would be, are you an American first or are you white first to the people who perpetuate the ideas?
Okay, interesting. Western civilization means, well, to me, when I reference it, which I don't reference it a lot, but I just say civilization because there are civilized people and there are uncivilized people. The Black Lives Matter people generally are either uncivilized or they're useful idiots towards the destruction of civilization because they support guilty despite being shown innocent. They falsely smear and attack cops. They cry racism and accuse whites of being racist when they're not looking at themselves, and they're the ones who are falsely judging and prejudging people and situations. And you see it in case after case of the cases that they champion. And you saw, I don't know if you watched that town hall debate last week between Destiny and a couple of blacks and a Jew for Jesus. And Destiny said, I don't always agree with Black Lives Matter, their choices of people to champion or promote as uplift as their chosen victims, right? And the reason that he does that is because these are fake cases. Like Mike Brown, he was not murdered. He was killed in self-defense. Trayvon Martin, it was another self-defense case, just open and shut case. And case after case, even the George Floyd incident it's shown that he got himself in that situation, and his fentanyl had as much to do with his death. The overdose on fentanyl had as much to do with his death as the stress of resisting arrest and asking to be put down on the ground and having their knees on him. And so all these cases are breaking down. And then when you look at their statistics, they say blacks are more likely to die at the hands of police than whites. They're like twice or 4 times as likely to die at the hands of police, right? But when you look at their crime stats, they're also 4 to 6 times as likely to commit murder. They're like 4 to 5 to 6 times as likely to kill cops. So, they have higher violent crime rates. They're going to have higher interactions with the police. And the liberals claim, whites and blacks do drugs at the same rate. But the cultures are very different. The drugs that they're doing are also associated with other violent crimes. Violent crimes in a community attracts police attention, and thank God for it. There are black mothers who are begging for police to come into their community and enforce and bring some law and order into their communities because kids are growing up in dangerous places. And so Black Lives Matter is undermining the welfare of black people. And so they're fake, and they're undermining civilization. They're uncivilized. Antifa, extremely uncivilized. They just attack people unprovoked like crazy. And so when you say Western civilization, I think of Christianity, freedom of speech, the true value of freedom of speech, where you don't attack somebody for saying the N-word, or you don't take their job away from them just because they said something edgy. I think of the Second Amendment, where people have the right to carry guns and people have the right to self-determine, rather than being told what to do, being told to shut down their businesses and all that stuff. But with this overhyped COVID thing, I forgot to ask Ty from Philly what he thought of the COVID communist shutdowns. But that's what I mean. You're like the 18-year-old, right? Or 17 or 18-year-old man?
Yeah.
Nice. It's good to hear from you. But are you following what I'm saying? Like, civilization means like actual justice, not social justice. And whites tend to support Republicans and the mainstream media and academia and the federal government, which is most of the workers are liberals. They tend to hate whites for that because they don't support their ideology. And especially white men. That's why you see that false smear upon white men, because white men are the only ones who, as a majority, at least a dominant majority, voted for President Trump. So you can clearly see that it's based not necessarily on the race, but on the values that a slight majority of whites tend to have, whereas the majority of all the POCs and women tends to be towards liberalism. That's why you see this attack on white people and this false smear upon white people. Do you follow that?
Sure. Yeah.
It's kind of long.
So sort of a little bit of it is our cultures are different, right?
You're talking about like between the races? Yeah,
between the races. That's a problem. Well, you think that's a problem, obviously.
Well, it's not that they're different. It's that it's between right and wrong. The majority of blacks are supporting evil, including to their own downfall, but they don't see it. It's between right and wrong. It doesn't matter. It doesn't matter so much that the cultures are quote unquote different. It's between civilization and what's right and wrong versus being uncivilized and falsely smearing people, falsely accusing them.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I'm not a conservative, but if I were, I don't think the way to attract black people towards conservatism is to speak like disparagingly of them. And I think like conservatives should also acknowledge that the struggles that black people have to go through. Maybe this would help with the moral character that you guys talk about.
But I don't know if the point is to strategize and try to attract people. That the point is to tell the truth about the situation, because the truth is refreshing to people who really want it, even if it's uncomfortable. Sometimes when you're confronted with somebody telling the truth about you, it's like, oh man, I do not like this person right now. But in the end, you realize, oh, this person is actually doing me a favor, even though it's unpleasant. So the truth is more important than so-called attracting blacks by kissing up to them or pretending they're not wrong for supporting evil or lying or stuff like that and crying racism against whites. And I mean, we do tell about how blacks are suffering. They're suffering at the hands of bad mothers, bad families, and they're voting in people who are their enemies. So we do acknowledge the ways that they're suffering, but the real ways, not the fake ways like, oh, the police are constantly harassing them. They gotta acknowledge why they're getting disproportionate attention from police because of the way that so many other blacks are acting. They don't know which ones are good. That's why they have to ask the question. And then they have this nasty attitude towards police.
Okay.
You know what I mean?
Yeah. Yeah. So do you think an issue with an issue with our country is black people committing crimes and going to jail? Would you agree that that's an issue?
I think not enough of them are going to jail. They tend to get away with crimes. That's part of a problem. Well, that's not so much the issue. That is part of the issue, but there's a whole media blackout on that issue. And there's this.
We want people to have, yeah.
There's a hiding away from dealing with black immorality. They call you racist for mentioning it.
I think if we want people to have better moral character and we want people to stop committing crimes, that we should focus also on infrastructure and why people are committing these crimes, so maybe we can deter it and we can rebuild these broken black homes like how you guys talk about, which I agree with. I think that would help with our country. Would you agree?
I don't know what you mean by infrastructure. That sounds like a liberal communist word. You know what I mean? Because physical things are not why human beings go out of control. We go out of control because either A, we're spoiled and are given all this power, because we are very, we're very spoiled with worldly things, and we can look at those Thai people protesting against Pornhub getting banned in their country. I don't know if you saw that, but people are destroying themselves, and it doesn't necessarily have much to do with the lack of support services and stuff. We need people like Jesse Lee Peterson pointing out people's wrong and how to overcome it. You know what I mean?
Yeah, but if we don't try to rebuild these ghettos, they're not going to. The black families aren't going to improve.
No, the black families have to improve first, and then they will rebuild the ghettos. You can do a little bit. You can do a little bit, like President Trump, for example. He's making the job or he was, anyways, before the COVID thing, and I think is coming back. The job situation is improving because consistently over the decades, or at least many years, black unemployment has been double the rate of the general population, right? The average, double the average. And part of that is their own fault. And part of that is they support Democrats who support illegal aliens who take their jobs. And part of that is like NAFTA type stuff. Part of that is minimum wage. Minimum wage should be gotten rid of. And all of these things that drive up the cost of and trouble of doing business. So we should never support Democrats. But also the message of rebuilding the family is never talked about. Obama paid lip service like, oh, so many blacks don't have fathers. But that's just lip service. He didn't support families.
Well,
he didn't say, oh, we need to rebuild families and be moral. He said, oh, blacks are victims of racism, including me. So he just fed that false black anger against whites that's completely based on black speculation. You know what I mean? They don't know whites' hearts, but they're just assuming that the whites are racist when they have no clue what they're talking about. They're the ones who are racist. If there is such a thing, which
Okay.
there isn't. You know what I mean?
Yeah, but I agree that committing crime is bad, but would you say that worse education and dropping out of high school early, that would lead to crime? You would agree with that, right?
No, because education is a brainwashing too. Even the so-called good, well-behaved blacks, so those are some of the worst people. When you see like Michael Eric Dyson and Barack Obama and all these black intellectuals who are the nerdy kids who they saw the black violence, but they didn't participate in it. Those people are pushing evil in the government. They're becoming these fake leaders, or some of them are becoming doctors and stuff, and they support Democrats who just, they're spiritually blind. We need a rebirth of the spirit, not of education and all that stuff.
Okay, but conservatives like to say, if you want to do good in life, you got to get married before,
Right.
You know, what are the
Yeah,
talking
that's
points?
morals.
And graduate high school.
I guess. I don't know. The high school is being very corrupted. That's why President Trump is for school choice, because these teachers, they stay paid anyway, even if they're failing teachers. And these schools, that's why they like illegal aliens, because the more heads that are in their school, so children's heads that are in the school, the more money they get. It's kind of like the doctors with the COVID cases. The more COVID cases or more COVID, I don't know if it's deaths or cases, the more money they get. So it's very corrupt, and there's like a rewarding for just raw numbers. So there is this appeal to like the physical world of, oh, poverty causes crime. That's not true. Immorality causes crime, and immorality causes so-called poverty. Crime causes poverty. You know, they destroy businesses when there's crime in communities. Like a business doesn't want to start in a high crime community. So,
But you're going to commit crime if if you're not going to school, if you have like worse infrastructure problems, like you're going to commit crime. So why don't we fix that?
Not me.
What do you mean?
I'm not going to commit crimes just because I'm not going to school or I don't have infrastructure. I was raised right. You're believing this fake thing. Oh, we don't have enough infrastructure. That's why they're committing crimes. That's not why people commit crimes. People commit crimes because they're immoral.
Okay, and what would cause a person to be immoral?
Being poorly raised is a huge part of it.
Well, we can't fix that situation if we just call people names.
Yeah,
like
you can.
immoral.
Yeah, you can. You can definitely bring shame back into the world. You can't be a female and say, oh, I don't want to make you feel bad for being wrong. You have to bring truth back. And there is a media blackout on truth. And there's an academia blackout on truth.
I don't think we're just telling people that they're not wrong. I think we're just going about this situation differently.
No, you guys, I mean, the people that you're listening to, this false value of, it's purely, it's physical circumstances that create criminals. That is a false solution. It's an imitation of solving the problem. They're just you're going after symptoms rather than the root issue, because you're following people who are
we
either
are going
blind.
at the root issue.
What's that?
We are going at the root issue.
No, you're not. You don't
Okay,
even
so
you
what's
don't
the
even
root
know what
issue?
the root issue is.
No, we do.
No, you don't. What is the root issue?
Social circumstances, having less money than other people,
See?
poverty.
Those things are not the root issue. Those things are symptoms.
Okay.
Those are symptoms of the immorality of the people who are so-called suffering.
Okay,
And the people that they elect.
Mm-hmm.
They're blind and brainwashed, and they're supporting their own destruction.
And the solution is what?
The solution is to wake up and return to families, fathers, responsibility.
Legislate that.
No more spoiling people for getting themselves into crazy situations. We're spoiling people. Their problem is not their poverty. Their problem is they're being spoiled and rewarded for being immoral and evil.
Okay, but we can't legislate people.
We can definitely
not leave their kids.
But we can legislate to not reward them having the kids out of wedlock. There is a reward.
But okay,
and we can also bring back men to shame them.
Right. I don't think that's going to work.
It will. It does. There are a lot of people who are calling into J.S.C. Lee Peterson's show who've made a whole lot of errors in their lives, and they're waking up and their lives are turning around. It's because you haven't seen it. It's because you don't see a true example of manhood in your life, that you don't think that that's going to work.
Well, to be fair, we don't all have the privilege of having the opportunity of growing up with two-parent households and having money like that.
That's why there are Christians in society to point the way when the parents fail.
Okay, but sure.
You know what I mean?
I would legislate differently, but yeah.
But your legislation has failed for decades and centuries.
Well, taking people out of bad schools and putting them in better schools isn't exactly going to work for anyone.
Yeah, it will. What the heck?
Okay, so what do you do with those bad schools?
They close down because they're not performing well. And then those people suffer until they wake up and do a better job somewhere else.
Then you're going to push the people who are doing well in their better schools out of their schools. You're going to overcrowd them. We should work on the situation.
You're trying to shoot holes into a solution when you haven't even tried it.
Okay. Well, I mean, people have tried it.
No, they haven't.
They haven't? They didn't do busing for a while? They didn't...
Busing? You talking about busing?
Yeah.
Busing is not school choice. Busing is not school choice, man. Yeah, I don't agree with integration, forced integration, and all that busing stuff. That's like affirmative action.
Yeah.
Yeah, no, you let the parents decide, and let the parents force the parents to be responsible by not taking responsibility for the children as the government. The government should not be the ones taking over the children's lives. The parents need to be responsible, because the government has become more and more corrupt. And I don't think that you realize that we're in like a crisis. People have lost track of what it means to be American. And that's what happened to Rome.
Oh, yeah. That's what I was talking about.
What's that?
Well, that's originally what I called about, like what it means to be an American, like Western civilization. I don't really know what that means.
Being an American means you support Christianity, you don't hate white people, you support men, you support families, you support God or godliness. Even if you're an atheist, you don't hate Christians and you don't hate Christianity. And you believe in true freedom of speech. You have the spirit of the freedom of speech. You don't be like, oh, we need to censor the N-word and all that stuff. Because you let people talk. You let people get it off their chest. And you don't pay special treatment to blacks or Hispanics or LGBTQ people. It's God's order of life. You support the Second Amendment. All of this stuff all these people who pretend to be Americans are undermining society, and they're really enemies of the blacks that they pretend to be supporting.
Mm-hmm. But if we look at an issue like homelessness, for example, that issue isn't going to be solved by saying have better moral character.
Yeah, it is. Big time. Are you kidding me?
Well, no. They're...
because having better moral character means you're going to have the wisdom for how to deal with the homeless people. You're not going to You're not going to listen to these communist homeless rights people who let the streets get disgusting and dirty and dangerous in the name of so-called property rights, and meanwhile oppress the sensible people.
Mm-hmm. And that brings about another
It's
issue that
these people are enabling homelessness and drug abuse and madness.
And what do you think about the people who do work, like you say is a good thing, but aren't making living wages?
I don't know such people. We can do many things. We can do many things to solve that problem. One is get rid of minimum wage. Get rid of it.
How is that? What is that going to do?
That'll bring down the cost of living and the cost of doing business.
Mm-hmm.
It's artificially increasing the cost of living. It's just making their money worth less. Not worthless, but worth less. Maybe it's worthless, but but at least you can buy stuff, right? But you're gonna have to just spend more to get the same thing, you know? 5 cents used to buy something.
Mm-hmm.
And so that's one thing.
Away?
Get rid of a whole lot of regulations, as the president has done. For every new regulation, you have to cut 2 or 3 or something like that. That's a good way to get rid of the problem of, you know, the attack on businesses. Get rid of the unemployment benefits.
All social programs.
What's that? I don't know. Maybe
all social programs.
I don't know, but case by case, look at it and cut, and it'll help. It'll bring people's natural talent out when they're challenged and have to deal with life. They get creative, and they work hard and smart.
Yeah, well, people have other issues. People are disabled. They have mental issues. There's drug issues, not just money.
I know.
That is,
yeah, and you can overcome all that stuff.
Maybe. Okay.
There's all kinds of stuff going on, and it's and you're only getting one side, and you're getting a false caricature of the other side. Well, you're calling this show, so you're getting my side anyway.
Yeah. Yeah, I just thought I'd give the other perspective a little bit about Western civilization, you know?
Yeah, it's crazy. They smeared a decent man who defended Western civilization as a white supremacist, as though that's such a bad thing. Give me a break.
Well, I don't, like with the white race, right? Like, are you for that too, like the preservation of it? Or you're just about the values?
I don't hate whites.
Okay, but what about the preservation of the white race? You don't really care about that, do you?
Yeah, I do. What the heck?
You do? Why?
Because whites are people, human beings. It's evil to support the destruction of human beings, even if they are
we're
white.
All Americans.
Whites are human beings, right? Are whites human beings, David?
Whites are human beings.
Thank you.
I don't know if
why would you scoff at the destruction of white people? Do you not see that there's a crazy?
No. It's not the destruction. It's the
There is a destruction. There's a destruction upon white people pushed by the establishment government, by the academia that you've been listening to, by the mainstream media, by the social media establishment. They hate white people because white people tend to be more conservative. Huh?
Like mixed racing, for example.
Race mixing? Nobody likes, I mean, traditionally, no race likes that.
Well, I mean, I don't, like, we're Americans, so who cares?
Yeah, Americans and Brazilians are starting to mix races, and they say, oh, who cares? But there's a whole lot of, traditionally, no race likes that. Blacks don't like it. Hispanics don't. Well, Hispanics are mixed, but they don't like it when you go outside. The parents get a little disappointed. Some parents don't care. There is a culture. Like there's a whole lot of. There's a growing push to say, oh, diversity is good and it doesn't matter. But you'll notice that the mixed kids end up resenting either white people or they grow up messed up because the parents are shallow.
Well, we have white people already that you wouldn't agree with that aren't necessarily mixed.
I never said that. I said barely a majority of whites stand for what's right. I never said I agree with all whites.
Okay, then conservatives should try to be attracting all races, despite how they look.
That's what they're doing by telling the truth. They're not kissing up to them, or they shouldn't kiss up to them.
Yeah.
There is a complete... Do you not see that there is a crazy push by both liberals and fake conservatives to make this false, phony appeal to POCs?
Well, I think
do you not see through the phoniness of the liberals?
Well, named a liberal, I don't know.
Basically anybody who's not conservative. All of them are kiss-ups.
Yeah, I don't think that's true.
It is true, man. If you look closely, if you pay attention, you'll see the phoniness.
I think they're just out for the best interest of different social groups.
No, they're not. They're not for the best interests of those people at all. They're for themselves, and they have a phony feeling sorry for people.
Yeah, but if they were for themselves, then they would be about the preservation of their own race.
No, that's not true. Selfish people will do all sorts of wacky things. They're not they're not into race. Blacks. The only people who are most into their own race thing are blacks. Have you noticed that?
I don't like black nationalists.
I said in general. I'm not even talking about nationalists.
In general, black people are more, what?
Into their own race.
Oh, yeah. Everyone's into their own race.
No. Blacks especially.
Really? What about
you
Italians?
Really don't notice that?
Like Italian pride, Germans who are just saying German pride, the different types of white people there are.
We're talking about blacks. They're the most into it. Yeah, you can find Italians, and that's why we don't like them sometimes. Italians and the Irish, and I guess a few Germans. But we're talking about race. We're not talking about the
Germans
nationality.
Are the most proud type of white people. Come on.
What?
Germans are the most proud type of white people.
We're talking about race. You're talking about nationality.
No, ethnically.
We're talking about race.
Okay, yeah, but
we're not talking about ethnic.
Race. So white as a race.
You're just hiding from the fact. I can't imagine living in Pomona and not seeing this. Well, I guess Hispanics do have this big time too. I guess that's an ethnicity in that case, but they're into a false physical identity, and they're shallow, and they support evil and think that they're supporting their race. But you're worried about the few whites who do it here and there.
I am, yeah.
It's ridiculous.
I don't like it.
You should worry about yourself.
Okay, so do black people have more power in this country than white people do?
In certain ways, yes, of course.
In most ways?
I don't know. This is a meaningless question, man. Power. That's all communists are about. You've fallen prey to this phony idea of physical political power rather than right and wrong.
If black people made up the majority of the population in America and they were very nationalistic, I would be criticizing them too. And I do criticize them when they are.
But you're blind to good versus evil.
Yeah, I think
you're absolutely blind to good versus evil, man.
No, I think our ideas are different when it comes to that.
No, because you think nationalism is evil.
Well, it is. I mean, yeah. It
no, it's not
necessarily.
Exactly. It depends on the nationalism.
Okay, what kind of nationalism is good? I don't think race nationalism is good.
Why not?
Okay, well, if you're an American, why are you white first or are you American first?
It doesn't matter. It's America. You have the freedom to be whatever you want.
Okay, then don't criticize other cultures. Then I guess.
Yes, you
If you're gonna
can.
make that argument.
This is America. We can do and say whatever we want. We can criticize other cultures.
Right. But,
So why are you trying to oppress the people who are trying to speak some sanity into the world?
I'm not trying to oppress anyone.
I know, but you're falling for the people who are. You're falling for the blind communists.
Well, I'm just saying racial nationalism isn't very logical.
Well, let them worry about that. They'll suffer.
Yeah.
You're chasing
Black people don't seem
a
to like it.
boogeyman. You've been brainwashed to worry about a boogeyman.
I don't know if it's a boogeyman, but sure.
You live in
know, just like
Pomona,
they-
man. Pomona is black, Hispanic, white, Asian, and it's
Oh, yeah, that's
been a
another
mess
thing.
for a
Yeah.
long time.
Yeah, that's why I wanted. That's why I said I like multiculturalism. Where in America, I like the diversity.
That's because you don't know anything else. You don't realize that. Oh shoot, we're at the end of the show. You don't realize that. You don't realize that there is a hatred
Diversity
upon
is
white
bad.
people, and diversity is a false
Who
value.
cares? Okay.
Diversity is a false
Yeah.
value. You got to return to like believing in right versus wrong, not this phony physical stuff. Anyways,
Well, let's
I've
say-
talked with you for
yeah.
35 minutes, and we're at the end of the show, and I ignored all the rest of my callers. Sorry, callers. We'll talk more, David, if you want to call in again. I like talking with you.
All right, I will. Thanks for taking me.
Yeah, and you're white, right?
Yeah.
You're pure white?
I'll look into my ethnicity for you.
You don't already know?
Well, most white people don't know their own ethnicity.
But you don't?
Oh, I do, yeah. I mean, I think I do. I don't know.
Anyway, we'll talk more, David. It's good to hear from you. Come to church with Jesse Lee Peterson if you're into that. Or
Maybe.
check it out.
Okay.
We're closer to the west side, though. But anyway, take care, man.
All right, thanks.
All right, I appreciate you. Sorry to Robert and Joe and Earl and Bible Go-To Guy and the rest of you guys. I don't know. Mo Betta Stand Up asks, ask caller if he is nation loyal to Israel. Is when caller is vacation to Israel, he hates multiculturalism. I don't know. Anyway, guys, did I read everything? Your guess, this child is pure mama emotion, says Lin Yenshin. Mama drama has the mind spiraling in outrage, says Lin Yenshin. He goes on to say, oh, man, you can start the music, Joel. We'll be done shortly, but start it kind of quietly. Infrastructure of our psyche is whack. We black, says Lin Yenshin. That's why my mama took me to the white man land, says Lin Yenshin. True whites are lights of decency, life, quality. How do you vote? Oh, no, yes, I got that one already. Lin Yenshin says, we lack wisdom, not government subsidies. Yes, referring to the issues facing blacks. Caller equals confused child with no sense of us blacks. But he's not a child, he's 18, he's a young man, and I think that's part of the problem because they've been brainwashing and grooming people to believe in this stuff. Lin Yenshin gave a diamond, says his mind is lost on us being pets needing government aid. Think about it. He says morality isn't ethics, aka code for but living sense. Be still and know how to gain is how you gain morality. Be still and know. Interesting. Your guess, this child is pure mama emotion. Mama drama has his mind spiraling outage. Mo Betta stand up with the diamonds and says, great show as usual, Hake and team. Thank you guys. Appreciate the support. We'll see you on Monday and Sunday and later this noon time for the Fallen State. JesseLeePeterson.com, theHakeReport.com. Thanks, guys.